Cognitive functions at a glance. Extroverted Intuition, NE. NE generates a flurry of clever and loose ideas when it comes into contact with intellectual novelty. It quickly exhausts every new idea that the novelty affords, and then moves on. NE is springy, cognizant, including, chromatic, ever-inquisitive, and associative. It goes from the one to the many. NE is dominant in ENTPs and ENFPs, auxiliary in INTPs and INFPs, tertiary in ESTJs and ESFJs, and inferior in ISTJs and ISFJs. Introverted Intuition, NI. NI submerges previously assimilated insights from consciousness, only to suddenly have them resurface as ingenious, creative, and perhaps slightly crazy new syntheses. NI is dogged, visionary, excluding, wraith-like, inquisitive then satiated, and synthesizing. It goes from the many to the one. NI is dominant in INTJs and INFJs, auxiliary in ENTJs and ENFJs, tertiary in ISTPs and ISFPs, and inferior in ESTPs and ESFPs. Extroverted Sensation, SE. SE sees its surroundings with unparalleled realism and discernment, seizing opportunities as they arise and making the most of them, with the sky being the limit. SE is promoting, photographic, capricious, improvising, thrill-seeking, and expansive. SE seizes the day. SE is dominant in ESTPs and ESFPs, auxiliary in ISTPs and ISFPs, tertiary in ENTJs and ENFJs, and inferior in INTJs and INFJs. Introverted Sensation, SI. SI forms a comprehensive mental archive of the facts that are known with certitude in order to achieve an impressive and masterful command of the intricacies of the SI type's world. SI is retaining, impression-based, persistent, procedural, receptive, and restraining. To SI, tomorrow is another day. SI is dominant in ISTJs and ISFJs, auxiliary in ESTJs and ESFJs, tertiary in INTPs and INFPs, and inferior in ENTPs and ENFPs. Extroverted Feeling, FE. FE directs its own sensitivity outwards to social situations and other people, achieving unmatched rapport with others, and creating joint moods and values that unite. FE is soothing, appropriate, courteous, societal, aligns itself with norms, and moves in the direction of outside in. It starts with the world, and then moves to the self. FE is dominant in ENFJs and ESFJs, auxiliary in INFJs and ISFJs, tertiary in ENTPs and ESTPs, and inferior in INTPs and ISTPs. Introverted Feeling, FI. FI holds its own likes and dislikes, isolated from the external environment and the expectations of others, in order to achieve unparalleled purity of opinions, aesthetics, and ideals. Fi is championing, sincere, passionate, individual, holds strong ideals, and moves in the direction of inside out. It starts with the self and then moves to the world. Fi is dominant in INFPs and ISFPs, auxiliary in ENFPs and ESFPs, tertiary in INTJs and ISTJs, and inferior in ENTJs and ESTJs. Extroverted Thinking, TE. TE orientates everything by objective data, making objective reality the ruling principle, not only for its own affairs, but for its whole environment. TE is organizing, businesslike, self-evident, data-driven, inductive, and values expediency. It runs the risk of pursuing goals without reflecting. TE is dominant in ENTJs and ESTJs, auxiliary in INTJs and ISTJs, tertiary in ENFPs and ESFPs, and inferior in INFPs and ISFPs. Introverted Thinking, TI. TI analyzes occurrences according to free-floating principles, which are followed in an impersonal way to come to the closest to an impartial understanding. TI is analyzing, pensive, belabored, principles-driven, deductive, and values consistency. It runs the risk of reflecting without pursuing goals. TI is dominant in INTPs and ISTPs, auxiliary in ENTPs and ESTPs, tertiary in INFJs and ISFJs, and inferior in ENFJs and ESFJs.